So recently I've been seeing a ton of ads for Temu.com, that's Temu, and I saw there were some pens on that website. So I bought about 25 of them, cost me maybe about $14 in total. They're quite affordable. There's a range of prices on the website, but they veer towards the lower end of the market, at least as far as pens go. And like I said, 25 pens, 4 different varieties, I think from 4 distinct brands. And I just want to do a quick video kind of talking through the ones I bought. You know, I shopped around. I did not really any research. I kind of looked for just some pens that were appealing to me, and they looked like ones I would actually use. So we'll jump right into it. Here are the details. I got a 6-piece set from this company called Hotoco, I don't know. I'd never heard of any of these brands before. An 8-piece set right here. This is called Homu, Homu. Again, these aren't well-known brands, at least not to me. Maybe, you know, to other people they might be. A 6-piece set from Tanco, which was kind of the one I was most excited about. And then a 5-piece set from this one. It's unbranded, but the company that sold it was called Morandi. So, you know, here's that snapshot again. So quite affordable. They're sort of, I think most of them are made in China, but they're usually they're somewhat reminiscent of other pens we've seen before. Not like copies, but like clearly this one looks like the Jetstream. You can see, just for a quick example, we'll jump right into it. Very similar design there to the Jetstream Edge. But anyway, these things were affordable. I think they were shipped free. They were shipped pretty quickly. Got everything in under 2 weeks, I want to say. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. First of all, we have this one. This is the Hotoco, whatever. And this is a pretty simple rollerball style pen. Needle tip, looks very reminiscent to a Uniball Vision or a Vision Elite, some of those pens that we've seen before. Not refillable. I mean, you could maybe buy another one of these, but I wouldn't consider it to be refillable. It's a liquid style gel pen, entirely plastic. You know, pretty undermade as far as the clip goes, but you know, very workable. It shipped in a package like this, so like that kind of crinkly, lightweight plastic you find when you get products directly from the manufacturer in China. And we see this a fair bit when you're ordering from like an AliExpress or something like that. I mean, it happens with eBay too. It's not like it is necessarily a bad sign, but it's kind of like reminiscent of other pens I've ordered. And so this was actually a fairly workable rollerball. I had no problems with this. It was a good writer, relatively smooth, and a nice, consistent, solid black line. I don't know if it's sold in other colors. The 4-pack I received is only in black, but this was the Hotoco, and I'll call it the rollerball. I believe it's a 0.5 millimeter. Yeah, 0.5 millimeter. So I'm rather happy with this one. It's very reliable, smooth, and does job really well. It's, you know, as good as some much more expensive Japanese pens that I've been using and you probably use. And again, it was a 6-pack for $3, so 50 cents per pen. I don't know how long they're going to last over time, but I've used this one for a few weeks now and I've had no problems with it at all. I wouldn't say it's a very good looking pen, but you know, this sort of, they call it the orange shell. It's a very dark orange, and you know, it works. Looks okay, a little bit bare bones, but definitely a workable pen. And if you're looking for an affordable rollerball, I don't have any problems with this one at all. Move on to the next one. That is right here. This is that Homu, Homu, and this was an 8-pack of these colorful or colored gel pens and colored gel pens. And this one kind of looks like a Zebra Sarasa a little bit. We have a grippy section here, plastic clip with a contrasting color. And I think the Sarasa, it was called like the Vintage or something like that, where you had a retractable gel pen with a pretty cool color. I think the Zebra called this the Wine or something like that. And Zebra, I think, used a little bit nicer clips, but that's really not neither here nor there. And this was, again, $4 for 8, so again, 50 cents per pen. And these are called the Homu. And these ones I would say, while I enjoyed the colors, I thought the colors were really good, the pen is not a good writer. It has just a lot of resistance and some inconsistencies with the ball as you're writing. The ink comes out, it's fine, but as you're writing, you could feel just kind of a lack of smoothness. This is, again, a 0.5 millimeter. You can see the details right there, 0.5 millimeter. And this one's shipped in, again, a kind of like crinkly kind of bubble wrap, and you can see the colors. There is like a slate or charcoal. No, sorry, this one's more of a brown. Here was that slate. There's an orange, purple, and pink, and this was a kind of dark green again. So pretty reminiscent of the Sarasa vintage or whatever it was. And these had, this one I haven't used before. Let me see. There you go. These ones that I've used have been a little bit inconsistent and kind of like draggy and not very enjoyable to write with, but you are getting some pretty cool colors. This sort of, it looks like an orange, but as it writes, it's kind of like a brown, almost like a bronze, and it's actually a pretty interesting ink. It's not one I've really had a chance to see before. Sometimes when you see these colors from Zebra and all, they're really light. These are definitely not light. It's distinctive and readable. So, and yeah, here's the other one I was using. This is quite dark here, more of a gold, and not quite a gold. It's like a brownish, greenish, somewhere in between. And it's fine, it works, but not very smooth. And it just seems like the ball and the gel pen is kind of like a lower quality setup. So while I appreciate the colors here, I didn't enjoy using these. And now let's move on to this one. This was the Tanco. So this was kind of a pretty clear copy of the Jetstream Edge. And here's the one I've been mainly using. We could see the wire clip. We could see a distinctive taper as the pen goes down. So it's thinner here and wider here, which is a really nice feature. Clearly the front end is, this one was inspired by this. The Tanco does have a rubbery grip that has a little bit of give. It's not quite an alpha gel, but it definitely has some give. It is not round, it's hexagonal, which is really nice. This one is round and it's metal. So this is kind of the ones I would say this is the one I was most excited about. And this was 6-piece for $6.50, so about $1 each, $1.10 each, something like that, $1.08 each. So retractable, nice action. It uses a needle tip similar to the original tip, the original refill that the Edge sold with. The Edge was 0.28 millimeter. This one's not. This is 0.5 millimeter. So they didn't copy the refill of the Edge, which would have been really hard, because that was a big innovation from Uniball at the time. But you do see this kind of like double ball system, which Uniball does use. And you can see nice packaging here. Like clearly more effort was put into this pen than some of the others, which is, I don't know, it seems like they, Tanco made a real effort here to put out a higher quality pen. I mean, it's twice the price of the other ones, so maybe it's not a shock, but good retractable action, and it's actually comfortable to hold. And this one's a nice writer. It's a 0.5 millimeter, but it actually writes more like a 0.7 millimeter. So it's really a thick and pretty wet line, which makes it very smooth, but you're gonna be a little bit surprised if you're buying this expecting a 0.5 millimeter. So here, you see it's a lot more distinctive than the Hotoco or the Hotoco, whatever, that one's a rollerball instead of a gel, but smooth and consistent writer. This one was, I would say, far and away the best of the bunch. You'll decide for yourself whether it bothers you that this is so clearly inspired by the Jetstream Edge, but there you go. Definitely the highest quality pen I could find from Temu in my limited experience. And there's a refill. Looks a lot like a Pentel LR, I think is the one I'm thinking of. And there's really nothing here that's too helpful. There's some, I believe, Chinese characters, and then just JWS22R1. This is, from what I could tell, it's not a refill you can go ahead and purchase. You could see like how they're made on the inside is a little bit cheaper. The spring stays in there, which is nice, but when this interior part falls out, it just means some corners were cut, which is not necessarily a problem. But if you lose that piece, then the pen's done for. And you can see with the threading, it's a larger threading, so non-zero chance that this pen might kind of loosen up over time. But again, no major problems with it so far. I'm using this one the most out of the pack, or out of the sets that I purchased. And lastly, we have a 5-piece set from this pen company called Morandi, and these ones were unbranded, so it's a pretty standard kind of gel style pen. These were the cheapest of the pack, so it's a 5-piece for $1.25, so 25 cents per pen. So now you're looking at a quarter of the price of this one and half the price of the rest. And these ones were clearly the lowest quality out of the bunch. They have a kind of awkward click. It just doesn't feel great. It's like a lot of pressure and then a kind of inconsistent action. And you could see just like here, like this was not, see if you could zoom in, focus in. You can see this was not shaved down properly. It's like clearly made to be a budget pen. It has a monochrome look to it, kind of like all single piece of plastic. Kind of this like clip is not great. So it's kind of I'd say it's kind of disappointing, but given the price, it's not really like a major concern. My bigger issue with these is that they don't write very well. And this had the worst refill out of the bunch. It has a lot of drag to it, and the kind of the writing tip, the ball in the refill, it seems like it has a kind of sharp edge to it, so it's just not very fun to write with. I wouldn't say it's unworkable. It does work, but it just has a lot of drag, and it kind of is not very enjoyable to use. No functional problems. It does work, and you get a nice distinctive legible black ink, but a lot of drag, and it just doesn't feel like a pen that I would want to use with for extended periods of time. So it's fine to buy some and throw them in your junk drawer, in your car, whatever, where you need pens in a pinch. But for the same money, you can get higher quality gel pens from like Staples or something like that. It comes in some different colored bodies, but it's the same refill in each, unlike the Homu, which had the colored bodies but also matching colored ink. Go into that refill really quickly, and you can see pretty standard stuff inside. This is opaque, so you can't see how much ink is left, which is super annoying. But obviously corners were cut to get this pen down to 25 cents. I don't think it was worth it. For a little bit more money, you could buy a much better pen. So yeah, that is a quick look at some of the pens from Temu, and here is most of them. And on the whole, I think it was a pretty interesting experiment. I don't think you're getting the quality of going like straight to Uniqlo, a Muji or something like that. Not Uniqlo, a Muji or something like that, which is kind of where I think people have maybe seen large sets of relatively unbranded gel pens. Those are a fair bit more expensive. So it's not a perfect like for like, but it has that sort of vibe where you could buy a bunch of unbranded or like limited branding gel pens with some variety, something that kind of looks like other pens we've used. Obviously Temu has a huge variety from what I can tell, and some higher quality stuff. And so this Tanco is again quite a good deal given the quality of the pen, but comes with some problems, which it is so much inspired by that Uniball pen. And yeah, so overall, really good experience, I would say. You know, I think there's going to be some hit and miss here, but when you're hitting and missing for like $2 a pop, $3 a pop, I thought it was a pretty fun experiment, and maybe something to keep an eye on in the future. So yeah, some pens from Temu.com. Thanks for watching.